Hello, eRank. Welcome to the last Q&A of 2024. So I suppose it's our office Christmas party with all of you guys and Starla and Bryan and Pam.
Starla and Pam and Bryan, and we're all here.
We should have had Anthony. Why isn't Anthony here? He should have been here.
Yeah, I literally just thought I should have invited him as I was sending the link to you two. So, Anthony, if you want to come on and you've got your makeup on, come on in.
I'll send him a message real quick and see if he wants to. I know he's been very busy, so.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I thought of Bryan last week because I thought, hey, it should be like the three of us on. That'd be cool. And then I was just queuing this up and thought, why didn't I think of Anthony? Especially because he's been online and he has brought out a little Christmas present for everyone on eRank.
He brought out a Christmas present for all of our eyes.
Yeah. It's such a really. Has anyone noticed eRank's Christmas present to you all? It's something that you have been asking for. Not just you. It's something that we have been asking for.
That I've been asking for.
Oh, yep. No kidding. and during my live stream on Friday, that's like the whole chat, and I messaged Anthony like right after the live stream. I'm like, we really need to do this. So
yeah.
Thankfully, but yeah, do you guys want to should we
I want to see if anyone guesses first and then we can pull it up.
Well, you guys better start guessing. Go log into eRank. Let us know, what do you see that's different? You know what's funny, I have not logged into eRank to see that.
And it's not a massive change, but it is definitely a change where you can see me now, and then this is with eRank. This is with Facebook, and this is with eRank.
Yeah,
but it's better.
Exactly.
I also noticed that is it our homepage or what did I click yesterday? Somewhere I clicked yesterday, our eRank logo had a little Santa hat. Where'd it go?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't see. Wait, is that what you were talking about, Starla? Everyone was just wishing that eRank had a Santa hat?
The eRank logo very briefly had a Santa hat, and now it doesn't, and I was so happy about it. Where'd it go?
Oh, guys, where's Santa hat gone? I don't know who. We've got Jessica.
I've stolen it for the day. I'll give it back to eRank after the
that's
live.
it. That's where the Santa hat's gone.
My heart is breaking. Yes, Susanna said, is it dark mode? Well, not quite, but it's a temporary fix while they get their butts on the dark mode, because apparently dark mode. Huh? It's
darker.
It's darker mode.
Yay!
Look at that. It doesn't burn our retinas. I think it's 50-50 with people who like search everything on nice, bright, white, clean screens. And then there's those creatures of darkness who open the full, bright, white screen. I mean, everything on mine is on dark mode. So when I opened eRank, it was like, I'm burning. So this is a big, for us, this is a big nicer on our eyeballs. I have a really bizarre thing I found when the menu isn't a very contrasty color. My eyeballs just wander off the side of the screen. They don't know where to look for data. I don't know if that's me being a weirdo, probably.
No, definitely not. And that happens to me on Etsy all the time, because Etsy also has the white background on the sidebar, and your eyes just don't focus on it the same way.
Oh my God, guys. Bill Clinton is in the chat.
Oh my goodness.
We are among a celebrity. This is a historic moment for eRank. I will be sure to notify Anthony right away.
I was going to say it's bad times for Etsy, but no, it's bad times for him if he's selling on Etsy.
Oh, sorry, Bill. How are your sales this season?
Then again, you guys probably have more followers than he does.
You know, that's probably true. So I did some sniffing. I'm going to put it in the chat. My landing page, where you can actually, if you guys are free eRank members, if you want to sign up for an eRank free trial, you can do that with this link. My landing page has a Santa hat, but no one else's has a Santa
Oh, it's
hat.
for our affiliate pages.
So I don't know why only I have a Santa hat, but I'm going to bring this up immediately with our development team and demand that all eRank pages have a Santa hat.
Right. I want an affiliate page with little bat wings. No, I want an affiliate page with a dragon, please, developers, now.
And it flies in and it blows fire on the screen, and it's like when you used to be able to design your MySpace layout, if when we all thought we knew code.
Absolutely, yes.
Although to be fair, not everyone who uses eRank celebrates Christmas, and so not everyone likes Santa hats.
That's true. We could even make it a different color. It could be a more universal winter hat.
There you go. Well, I got my Hanukkah Harry hat on, so.
Jessica, oh, it's so cute. Well, yes. Pam, what are we discussing today? Since we decided that for our live stream, we're not going to be as serious, and we're going to do some more relaxed holiday Christmas party type fun.
Yes, well, I totally stole the idea off Sophie on our team, because she'd started a little group in our work group just talking about international holiday traditions and things, because we kind of think that everything that we do is the normal Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever else traditions, and everybody does the same thing. And then you discover that actually the stuff that we're doing in Britain, you guys are not doing over there, and it sounds weird and exotic to you. And the French traditions and the Italian traditions, and it's lovely to hear them all. So if you guys can let us know in the chat, what things are normal for you to be doing for the festive type seasons? And I suppose I put in the Facebook group just some daft things from the UK that I don't think are universal. So let me know if you've heard of any of them, which is, what did I say? Like Christmas crackers, pantomime, Christmas pudding, mince pies, first footing for Hogmanay. Yeah, I think that was all I said.
You know what I love is there's this whole list of things that Americans have seen in Harry Potter that they thought were magic, but they're really just British. So I thought when all the scenes were Luna's talking about, I think I'll have pudding, I thought she meant like gooey pudding. I didn't know that all dessert was pudding. So I'm like, why is this girl, give this girl a snack pack? She needs some.
Yeah, I only learned that fairly recently, that you guys mean pudding to be a specific thing. But yes, anything that's dessert, your final course, if it's not a cheese board, is pudding. But also we have puddings that are savory as well, because we're very weird.
Bread pudding is amazing.
What?
Bread pudding is amazing.
Yeah,
I thought you said blood pudding, and I was just like, oh no, don't start talking about blood.
I don't know what that is.
I wasn't going there.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah, blood pudding. We don't call anything a blood pudding. It's a black pudding, but it's made with blood. But I was thinking of a Yorkshire pudding, which is like a savoury puffed up pancake. It's very nice. But yeah, we just call just about everything a pudding.
It sounds goopy. Pudding to me, my brain goes like goopy. Pudding is goopy. And Christmas crackers, I mean, that sounds like something that like you'd walk, in Detroit and like yell at someone as like a white person slur, because
when you say Christmas crackers, is that like a physical cracker, or you mean like the poppy things?
Yeah,
like things that pop?
Yes, a poppy thing.
Okay.
Yes, it's like a tube with
confetti,
rubbish gifts in them, a paper hat, a terrible joke, and a tiny explosive, basically. And between two of you, you pull either end, and it goes crack, it goes bang as it opens, and whoever gets the longest end wins the rubbish prizes.
Okay.
That sounds
There's
scary.
No point to it.
I don't think
it's just a little pop. It's just a tiny little banger.
Pam, you don't understand. I can't open cans of biscuits, and not the cookie kind, but
yeah, the
Pillsbury.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nowhere near as scary as them. Yeah, that terrifies me.
I'd beat that can on the counter until it explodes.
Yeah,
I'm not going to pull that tab. No way.
No, it's just a little pop. Yeah.
Do you guys do chestnuts?
Yeah, not done it for years. Chestnuts are delicious if you haven't done them.
I have a fridge full of them right now.
They're going extinct in the US. We've got a native chestnuts. We don't have them. I don't think I've ever had chestnuts.
All the stuff that we could find here is imported from Italy.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
But they're so
really
good.
nice.
They're like nuts, but they're also like they have a very potato taste. So good.
It sounds weird, but yeah. And it's a thing. I think it's from like Halloween, from round about Halloween bonfire night all through. Anytime you're outside with fires or like stoves and things, we roast up chestnuts outside.
They
They're
also
really
work
nice.
well in the air fryer.
Oh,
I haven't joined the cult of the air fryer, but
Oh
I'm
my
thinking
God,
I
it's so
probably should.
I do. I mean, I've had like water chestnuts in my Chinese food. Is that the same thing?
Similar.
There's a similarity. Yeah, Jessica's saying they squeak on your teeth. It's not quite, but yes, if you're thinking sort of a textury, and I know what Brian means. They don't taste like potatoes, but there's a potatoey taste.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but
that's how like
nice.
someone else described it to me, because I've been eating them since I was a kid. So like, I can't tell you what it tastes like because it tastes like chestnuts.
It tastes like
But
chestnut.
other
Yeah,
people are like, it tastes like potato or it tastes like yam or anything like that.
Yeah.
Chestnuts.
Well, I just told Anthony that he's missing a great conversation about nuts, so he should really consider.
Well, it would be cool because he's been in Australia and Canada and now the US, so we could get all the traditions from him. Although I think probably we have like Canada, the UK, and Australia has some that overlap, and then Canada and the US will have some that overlap. So,
oh yeah, and I'm in Ohio, so I'm like Canada's the hat, you know. There's just a body of water in between us.
Yep,
that's true. That's practically the same. And I think all of us probably steal traditions off of old movies, which is usually American traditions that if it's old movies, they were stealing old Victorian British traditions. So it's all gone round and round, basically. So, yeah.
I think traditions, it really depends on if you have kids or not. So we'll assume that through these conversations that many of you are watching this with children in the room. So we won't say anything bad. But for our daughter, our like big tradition here was NORAD, which is our military that monitors, you know, they monitor airspace and make sure that nothing's coming from across the ocean to hit us. They have a Santa tracker every year. And you can get on their website and you can actually see where in the world Santa is at any given time, how many gifts he's delivered at that point. So when Santa was close to our house, we would always, you know, tell our daughter, or even if he wasn't close to our house, she didn't know geography. You know what I mean? Like, we'd be like, oh my God, he's almost to Ohio. Hurry, run to bed. And it was just, it was great. So that was always very helpful. We also, another tradition, and this one's, you know, a pretty helpful one to parents, is Santa Claus. You guys know that like those presents get jostled up in his sleigh. They you know, sometimes they come unwrapped. So you leave some extra wrapping paper out, you know, that way he can wrap them when he gets to your living room. And then you get to pick whatever wrapping paper you want. And the kids can pick the wrapping paper that they want. So if they ask, you know, why is Santa's presents wrapped in our wrapping paper? It's because he needs to wrap them because they come unwrapped in the sleigh. So you leave the wrapping paper in the living room.
He's very clever. Okay. Did you know it takes him a little longer to get to some places? When we were kids, we lived down in England, but my grandparents lived right up in the north of Scotland. And it took, Santa came in England on Christmas Day, but he could only come in on New Year's up in the north of Scotland. It took him that long to go around and get back.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, like, he's got some terrain that he's got to fly through. There's mountains, there's inclement weather. He's got to navigate around drones in New Jersey. Like, there's so much going on. Like,
it's such a long way. Yeah. Oh, I love Susanna's one, and it reminds me of, I can say it on YouTube, the crapper, if anyone's heard of that. But anyway, Susanna, I have a tradition for you. In one region of Spain, parents buy a wooden log called cagatillo. That's the shitting log. It has legs, a face, and a red hat, and its behind is covered with a blanket. Kids hit it with a stick for a few days, and on Christmas Eve, the log poos presents.
That sounds made up. That doesn't sound like a real thing.
No, I believe it because I think it's a German one. It's the crapper, and it's any nativity scene has a little guy at the back with his drawers dropped and doing the toilet in the corner. Tell me I've not made that up, guys. Somebody's heard of that.
You might have made that up.
Yeah, that sounds...
it can happen.
Oh, just your wild imagination.
I would imagine something a little better than a guy doing the toilet by the side of the manger.
Brian, are you able to see the chat? Kat's got one for... Well,
for any goths in the chat, one of our traditions in our friendship group is Alice Cooper reading Is There a Santa? Do not listen to it with kids around. We have heard that.
It's perfect. Alice Cooper, he's looking a little rough these days.
I mean,
he was always looking a little rough. Come on.
Oh, let's see. Oh, we were always able to open one present on Christmas Eve as a kid. We knew it would be pajamas. We always do the Christmas pajamas on Christmas Eve, and it used to be a Christmas movie, like a DVD and Coco, but DVDs are pointless. There's Netflix now, so we've phased out the Christmas movie.
Oh, yeah, Susanna, thank you. I didn't make it up. Barcelona also has the crapper guy. I knew I'd heard of it.
Why not?
You have to bear in mind, in deepest, darkest Europe, we do have darker traditions for a lot of these things.
I think
because they're right. This one's not so great. I don't know if it's Christmas or New Year, but there's one that I heard of that hopefully nobody does now. But you used to have to bake a biscuit or a cookie for every child in your household and put their initial on it. And the cookies that broke, the child wouldn't make it through the year. Why would anyone do that?
Now, is that superstition they wouldn't make it through the year, or you had to make sure that they didn't?
Did you tell them that they wouldn't make it through the year?
Whoops, so your cookie broke. Sorry.
Bye-bye. Yeah, there's some dark things out there.
Oh, Ursula said, I'm from Germany, have never heard of the crapper or even hiding the pickle in the Christmas tree. That's really popular in Ohio. Like every store I go to has different Christmas pickles.
For the past 10 or 15 years, pickles have been huge.
Yeah, well, pickle flavored everything is popular. Yeah. I've been somehow added to a pickle flavored group. I think someone put me in it. I mean, I'm okay. I like pickled things. I'm just not obsessed like some people are. But yeah, there's like pickle candy canes. Ugh. No, not good. And then when we were in Latvia, there was a spot in the like middle of town where apparently the first Christmas tree was like erected in Latvia, which was not something that I knew. You know what's funny is before I was invited to Latvia, I'd heard of Latvia, but only since becoming a POD seller. It's like a country that if you could have made something up and said this is a country, I would have been like, okay. In America, we're in our little bubbles. I'm surrounded by cornfields, and I've never seen anything outside of my little cornfield bubble. But
I've seen quite a lot in this past year, just with that trip to Latvia.
Even when Mark was in the Air Force, you didn't like do any traveling or anything?
Nope. We were stationed in Texas for a couple months while he was in training. And then we spent the rest of the time in California because he was one of the only people who could do his particular, his job. So we would have been stuck there forever unless he volunteered to go to Korea or Germany. So we ended up just staying
up in Ohio.
Yeah, I like Ohio, actually. I'm a big fan of Ohio. We chose to come back to Ohio because I don't know. I think that you get the Southern hospitality, but you're still a Northern state, so you get that Midwest. Like I don't know. I'm a big fan of Ohio. I like my cornfields and I want to go to a diner where a big old Southern mama is gonna give me some biscuits and gravy and call me honey. That's what I want. See, my mom was Italian, so we always had her famous lasagna on Christmas Eve. That's what we're doing on Christmas Day. Or no, we're doing that on Christmas Eve. Yeah. Lasagna on Christmas Eve at his grandma's house. Cause like everybody does ham. I'm sick of ham.
On my Italian side, we always did rabbit and sausage and ribs and all that type of stuff. Rabbit is
like meats, like winter meats, savory meats. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
and then of course like a gnocchi and stuff like that because Italians.
Yeah. See, I live near Fort Hood, Texas. Is that where you were stationed? No, we were at Lackland. Or no, not Lackland. That's where he trained. We were at Goodfellow. Basic trainings at Lackland. We were at Goodfellow in San Angelo, Texas. It was very stinky. Like everything was stinky. The whole area stunk. The water stunk. Everything stunk. It all smelled like sewage. The whole town stunk.
Oh, Ursula, I really hope you're talking about in the past and it's not been this December the 6th, because they're saying we did have Nicholas come December the 6th to tell us if we'd been good or bad. He told me to stop peeing my pants. I hope that's not this year.
I mean, either way, that's a good life lesson that I think that we can all take to heart. You know?
It's true that it's good advice. Yes. She's saying she was 4. That's better. Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. When I was a kid, my dad told me that Santa Claus, that he gets kind of sick of eating cookies every night, and that he likes cookies, but what would get me extra presents is if I left him a beer and a grilled cheese with bologna. So we made Santa a beer, we put out a bottle of beer and a grilled cheese and bologna sandwich. And later that night, I remember I had to have only been like 3 or 4 years old because I had not started school yet. But I came out on my hands and knees, and crawled out into the living room to get a glimpse of the tree. And I saw all the presents, in the dark, just through the light in the window. And I scurried back off into my room. But then I think that I flew a little too close to the sun. I decided that I wanted to take a second look at the presents. And that's when I noticed 2 big biker boots hanging over like the edge of the couch, like someone was passed out on the couch. So I thought that I killed Santa Claus. It's convenient that my dad was also a biker at the time, that him and Santa had similar boots. But yeah, Santa drank my beer and I almost killed him.
Oh, so. See, Santa managed fine in our house. Santa's fed up of all the. Well, I think you guys generally leave out milk. In the UK, it's supposed to be sherry, but he got whiskey in our house because Santa doesn't like sherry that much. So he always got a nice wee dram of whiskey.
How does he fly? How does he do what he does?
That's what Rudolph's for.
He had a self-driving sleigh. It was fun.
Yeah. Tesla Rudolph.
Yeah.
That makes more sense then. Oh.
But it's not just
growing up, we had the advantage of Hanukkah, so we got presents for 8 days. It was great. Nothing was wrapped. It was just a way to get us to actually come to the menorah to light it. It would be like little chocolates or dreidels or toys or anything like that. It was fun.
Did you do best of both worlds? Because I've got friends who celebrate Hanukkah and they get the presents every day, but then they also get presents on Christmas. Yep,
because my parents were separate. We had Hanukkah at my mother's house, and then we'd go to my father's and have the whole Christmas. It was great.
Brilliant. Divorce brings people together in the best ways. It's better for the whole family.
Especially the kids.
The kids love it.
So guys, you listen at eRank. Divorce is great for the kids. Do not. Now that's on the internet forever. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Linda, I won't read yours out loud just in case there's children watching, but that is so sweet. Until you
were cousin jelly donuts. Yep. Love them. Latkes are like potato pancakes. It's almost like half brown. Oh, so good.
They are. You can get them here. I think that because, obviously grocery stores, especially living next to a military base, like we have
They
a
cater to
lot of
everybody.
different, exactly. So we get a lot of everything at our local grocery store. So there's been a couple times when we've been curious and we brought home some stuff. You know, we just want to know. We just want to try.
And you loved it.
The jelly, yeah, the jelly donuts were Bob. Those were breakfast.
See, jelly donuts is doing a similar thing to me as pudding is with you. I assume by jelly donuts you mean donuts filled with something, because in the UK jelly is more what you probably call jello. So I'm thinking of donuts made of jello rather than jelly. We'd call that a jam donut, I think.
Yeah, you guys call it a jam donut. Yeah,
which are great.
We call it jelly.
And there is the challenge, if they're covered in sugar as well, you've got to eat a whole jam donut without licking your lips. That's the rules.
Now, what are the repercussions if you don't do this? Do the police come and like bust your door?
Then you have to have another one. That's
true.
the rule.
Yeah, right?
That's the rule. It's unfortunate, but
well, that makes sense. Let's see. I was a crazy analytic kid and kept asking my parents about the logistics of Santa's Christmas run. I didn't see how it was all possible. That is hilarious because in my book, I wrote a science fiction book, and one of my characters is learning about Christmas for the first time, but she does the same thing. She does the math, and she wants to know how it's possible that I think that she's trying to figure out how it's possible for him to eat all the cookies. And she actually totals out how many cookies he would eat, and if he ate one at every house, how is he able to eat all those cookies? And it just doesn't purge. Yeah. He clearly, when he's done, Mrs. Claus immediately, what's the diabetes test that they do when you're pregnant where they make you drink the icky liquid? Why am I asking you two? You don't know. Bryan, what liquid did they make you drink when you were pregnant? You know. Somebody has to know in the chat. What is that icky glucose tolerance test? Yes, it is like the most liquid sugar, so hard to drink. You think maybe it'll taste like Kool-Aid, but it doesn't. It's the most concentrated. It's like thick. So, yeah. Let's see. Starla, that's great. Can I get that book? You can. It's on any website that sells books. You can even get it on Walmart.com. It's called The Channel by Starla Moore. I'm the only Starla Moore author, so it's not too hard to find.
I'm pretty sure Doctor Who did an episode where Doctor Who had to like deliver all the presents because Santa got injured or something, and so it was a magical thing. Yeah, but he made it happen.
I am mixing up Doctor Who and Terry Pratchett, but I think they both did something similar.
The BBC only has like 5 shows, and so they all have a Christmas episode every year.
It is pretty true, yes. And the Doctor Who Christmas show is always pretty daft, and it was probably David Tennant or the one after him.
No,
I can see them running.
Yeah, he's the one with the voice, right? He's got the voice.
They all have a voice.
Well, he has the special voice. He has doesn't he have like a really nice like radio voice? Is that who I'm thinking of?
No, he's Scottish, so he has a great voice.
Yeah, well, oh no, Pam, that's so not
true. If we
true.
could just get him to say Etsy to see how he says it, then we could find out if it's just you.
That's
okay,
true.
David, let us know. It'd be nice to.
If you're watching, then I mean, David Tennant watches eRank videos, doesn't he?
Of course,
yeah. Who doesn't?
I haven't heard anything else from Bill Clinton, so unfortunately, I think that we lost him.
Oh no! Do we have any other celebrity? Well, we have all the celebrities in the house. We have Starla and Bryan here, and all of you are our celebrities. Yes.
I mean, you guys are the real celebrities. I'm just here in between you guys, sandwiched in. Like, I'm just the little guy here.
Believe it or not, Bryan, we get a lot of comments during, when it's just Pam and I asking about you. So I think that you're starting to rise in stardom. It starts here, and then you start getting invited to Latvia. So
there
you better watch out.
That's next.
Pam got invited. She wouldn't go with me though.
Sorry, I didn't know it was your first time, and I thought I was just the Starla is so good that I would just be sitting in the corner being like, yeah, what she said.
Nothing was more terrifying than arriving after being awake for 30 hours, getting to the airport in Latvia, and there being no help. There was no kiosk to print a ticket. I could not read any signs. I could not communicate with anyone. And there were just people lined up at these different like boarding areas, but I did not know where I needed to go to get a ticket. And I could not communicate with anyone. And I waited in a big long line and got to the end and was told by an angry Latvian lady that I was in the wrong line. And I was so scared. I was very scary. I don't want to be by myself.
I can imagine. That's one of the reasons I don't travel abroad a whole lot is I'm terrible at languages, and I don't want to be the British person there speaking slowly and loudly and demanding people understand English, which is what.
To be fair, that's not a UK thing. That's like that. Sorry, Starla. That's a US thing. that's what Americans are known for, is being loud and why don't you speak English here in Japan? Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, oh my God, I'm an American. And well, actually, Anthony, he's like, if anybody gives you crap, just say you're Canadian. He's like, you'll be fine. Just say you're Canadian.
We're friendly.
Like, I'll fit right in.
That sounds really similar. Like anywhere, most places in Europe, if there's any trouble, if we say we're Scottish, you do a whole lot better because there's an alliance basically there. So yeah, Scotland and Canada, yay! Everyone loves us.
Ruth Marie, it's the angry and arrogant American syndrome. It is.
It's unfortunate, but it's
even Americans. I mean, I've only left the country once, and I tell you what, especially around holiday time, I don't like leaving my house because everybody is so precious and in their own little precious bubble, and they just do not give a crap about anything else going on around them. I'm like, oh my God, can people be decent? Can people be kind?
When at like a resort, you can tell who the Americans are.
Oh yeah, of course, the loud ones in the room.
Yeah,
I have to say, these are not so bad in Scotland. I think the people that have heard of Scotland and actually come to Scotland instead of going to Ireland or England are actually generally nice people. Rather than loud, what we get, and bless, I don't mean that this nasty to anybody, but anywhere where you are that's touristy, the queue will be held up by the person at the front of the line telling you what clan he's in and his whole lineage, and we're all like, yeah, we're all Campbells or whatever. Just move. No one particularly cares, I'm afraid.
Kind of in America, we're all like, my great grandma came from Germany, so I'm like 1/100th like this, and one like, and there's so much pride in all of that, but we're like so far detached from immigration that like I've got pictures of Native American family, like these just very stone-faced Native American women, these old black and white photos that have been passed down through my family. And my husband's like, don't tell people that you're Native American. You're so white. I'm like, I would never.
A lot of it is just think of how different you are from your parents and how different they are from their parents.
Right.
That's how quickly things change. That's how quickly generations change who you are based on where you are and the socioeconomic everything. And so you are nothing like your ancestors from 300 years ago.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I think it's cool that people get excited about research and all that and stuff, but
it's fun seeing the lineage, but to think that you have any of that actually in you other than just the blood is weird.
Yeah.
Right. There's some people I think that carry a little bit of the aesthetic, like Mr. Moore. I mean, you look at him and you can tell that he's Italian. He's got just those features
because of the twist.
Huh?
Because of the twist.
Well, that's a relatively recent thing, the twisty mustache, but
it's genetic though. They did it by accident. It's just in the genes.
But I think that some people carry it a little bit more than others. You can kind of still see it, I think that, I think that some people just they turn into just a mishmash of everything, and then you end up being just the mutt. You know, when you look at a dog and it kind of looks like a lab, it's got the floppy ears, but it's just brown. And you're like, yep, that's a dog.
That's a dog.
That's a dog, breed of dog called dog. I feel like that's about where
when
I am.
everything mixes up, like not in a bad way, not in a just because you're loud and whatever, but quite often you can look at someone and say that is an American when you see people walking about, the same as you can sort of see like, oh, that person's maybe Italian, or that you can see an American look. It's not universal, but you can just get a bit of, I don't know.
A lot of it is also style.
Mhm.
Just the fact that like Americans tend to dress a certain way compared to other places.
Pumpkin Spice Girls, like you can look at a Pumpkin Spice Girl and be like, yeah, we know where you're from. What about Pam? I found out when Amber Marie was in the US that the traditional like claymation old school Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which I thought was like a universally like watched worldwide film, but apparently it's not. We watched it together. She had never seen it before. And it wasn't until I sat with someone who was very British that I realized how sexist and racist the movie was. And she was just pointing it out. And I'm like, no, this is our childhood. And then I'm like, oh, wait. Oh yeah, Rudolph's dad specifically said, this is men's work. And leaves the women at home to cry over Rudolph leaving. And Santa is just a jerk the whole movie. He is so mean to Rudolph. He's telling his dad, you've got to get this fixed. Like, you need to figure out what's going on with your son and take care of this.
Oh, I must have seen something like that, but I don't remember. When you said
a different era.
The 70s, yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like, I was thinking like 40s or 50s with what you were saying. And when you said claymation, I thought what Kat had mentioned here, Wallace and Gromit. That's our claymation thing. Yeah, I know. We all know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but yeah, if I thought of anything, I'd think of like a cartoon rather than a claymation.
They're like needle felted, Pam. I'm surprised that you would know. I'm going to send you a picture on Slack because you will know right when you see it. 64, cool. Not 70s. It was 64.
Mm-hmm.
It was in color.
Oh, Kat, yes, this is definitely Destroying Childhoods is the original Snowman cartoon versus the Iron Brew ad. That I just watched. Someone did a comparison of you guys' cartoon Frosty the Snowman compared to the UK's The Snowman. And I hadn't thought of it.
With the green hat? That one? The fat one with the green hat? He flies? That one?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, he looks super soft. And I have a little like light up canvas of him, and Amber talked about how that was your guys's. Like,
oh, it was huge, yeah. But what I hadn't thought of, and I don't think of it like that, but she said very much like the American Frosty the Snowman, it all ends happily and he's back to life and everything again, whereas in the Snowman, if you don't cry, you've got no heart, basically. But I didn't think it was sad, because you should all know that a snowman is magical and only comes alive on Christmas Day. It only gets one day, so that's the magical one day. That's the rules.
So he dies afterwards. Does he
the sun
die?
Comes up.
I mean, Frosty melts.
Yeah, he melts. But it is
then
beautiful.
He goes back into the water table and comes back the next year, right?
Exactly. You can't get rid of water. That's fine. But more I saw at the end of it, you see he's melted and the kid's like, oh, was that a dream? And then you get the little scarf that he got when he was away on his adventures. It's like, magic maybe does exist. That's how I saw it. But that she saw it as a really sad ending. It is also sad.
It's somber. The music that plays is somber. The art style is kind of somber. It's very quiet. Whereas our Frosty the Snowman, it's very loud. He's happy birthday. He's like yelling and
Wait,
dancing.
the American Frosty is louder and more obnoxious than the you. Okay, got it.
Yeah, he's very loud. He's very representative.
But what Kat's mentioning there is Iron Brew, a soft drinks company in our country, do amazing adverts, especially the Christmas one. And for a couple of years, they did a version of the Snowman, but based on their drink, and it's beautiful music, but it's also really funny as well. So you have to watch that. And he's flying they're flying in the air. He's flying all around Scottish landscapes. It's very pretty.
Okay.
The Island of Handicapped Toys. What dark wonderfulness are we going down? I don't know that.
Pam, look in your Slack real quick. You'll recognize the Rudolph. But yeah, so they go to the Island of Misfit Toys, but the Misfit Toys are the ones that kids don't want because there's stuff wrong with them. There's an elephant with pink polka dots that no one wants. There's a choo-choo that has square wheels that no one wants. Now, the one that makes me the most mad is there's a water gun that only sprays jelly. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. Just put water in it. Just put water in it.
What's wrong with having jelly? That sounds fun.
But yeah, nobody wants these
I do sort of recognize that, but I don't think I've seen. No, that doesn't sound like a movie I've seen.
That's crazy. You'll have to bust that one out because, like I said, it's got all the little needle felted kind of critters. I'm surprised you've never heard of it. You could have some. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to sell them. Not quite public domain yet.
I can steal their copyright. Yay.
I was going to say you could make some stuff for fun for personal use.
Yeah.
Debbie said, this is the time of year when I'm out shopping and there's a misbehaving child and I tell them you better be good. Santa Claus is watching. Debbie, you scare me. I feel like the you would tell me Santa Claus is watching. Like,
well, I was going to say, I say it to adults. It doesn't work, but I say it to adults.
That's the scariest idea ever, is that Santa Claus is always watching no matter what.
That was a Calvin and Hobbes one, wasn't it? Santa Claus, kindly old man, or a CIA spoof.
Let's see. Okay, well, Pam, let's see. I was trying to think of more like super like American traditions.
Oh, I spent in Costa Rica. I spent Christmas down there. I was there for about 6 months, and apparently it's the same in Mexico and a lot of Latin cultures where, because there's no snow, they throw confetti like hole punches.
Cool.
So you can like on the street. There's just little vendors with little baggies of like hole punch confetti that you just get and you just throw at people.
Okay, well that's. When you said confetti, I was like, oh no, not plastic. But yeah, if it's
it's literally like someone is probably sitting there with a hole puncher just going, and then they sell these things for like $1 for a little baggie, and you're just throwing it around, throwing it at each other, and it's like snow. The ground is covered in these things like it's snow.
Does like Australia, does the Southern Hemisphere, when they celebrate Christmas, do they just opt out of winter imagery like snowmen?
I think they're still.
That's why we need Anthony.
My sister's in New Zealand. The thing that I can't get my head around is their Christmas Day barbecue. That's just wrong. You're sitting out middle of summer having a barbecue on Christmas Day. No.
I mean, we always had barbecue on Christmas because we had like the rabbit and the ribs and everything, but that was just no out there barbecuing. Like the men go out and barbecue and then bring it in. They have to suffer, but you eat inside still.
Yeah, we smoke our ham on the smoker, and Mr. Moore, he goes out there and freezes his butt off while I stay in the nice warm house.
So you guys still do a ham?
Sometimes we do. We actually haven't decided this year, but we usually do ham for both Thanksgiving and turkey Thanksgiving, because Mr. Moore says that turkey's a trash meat. So we only do ham, but I don't know what we're doing this year. We just talked about it today that we need to make a swift decision if we're gonna, because everybody, like when you have these like big family gatherings, like when we have 3 Christmases in a row that we have to attend, you get sick of eating the same stuff every single day. So we want to be the cool family that does something different.
If there's anyone in the chat from Australia or some other place, do you guys do like kangaroo, wild boar? Like what's your thing? Because I imagine pig is not as big down there, so ham wouldn't be as big. Turkeys are not native to Australia, so like, what do you guys do?
What do you
Not
eat?
for Christmas, but I've had kangaroo. It's tasty.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Starla.
But a lot of really weird meats.
Talking of eating, because we do all the. Do you guys eat anything special for New Year's as well, or is that just us?
As a Jew, we always do Chinese food for New Year's.
Sounds good.
And usually if my Jewish side is together for Christmas, then we also do Chinese food then. Chinese food is the holiday food for Jews. That's
hilarious, because I think it's in China that they do KFC for Christmas. That's a tradition. Japan.
Yeah.
I wasn't close at all. I was thousands of miles out.
You gotta like put your order in ahead of time, right? And in order to even get it, because every KFC there just gets swamped. We do I don't like it, but you're supposed to have sauerkraut on New Year's Eve. If you don't have sauerkraut, then you won't have a good year. But we do beanie weenies. We do like meatballs and little weenies, little cocktail weenies and barbecue and baked beans.
Oh, I've never heard of the sauerkraut. On New Year's Day, it's tradition to have like a steak pie. We'll usually do venison or something, but steak pie. And because if you're going out for Hogmanay, so if you're going out for midnight for the bells, there is a Scottish dish called stovies, which sounds disgusting but is amazing. It's just potatoes and onions and any leftover meat and gravy and everything, and you just boil it up till it comes thick enough to soak up all the alcohol you're about to consume.
So it's almost like a blended shepherd's pie.
Yeah, kind of. pretty much. But it's called stovies because it's like on the stovetop and it just boils down and you just take a ladle full of it. They sound awful, but it's really good.
Okay.
So
Beautiful Cat says in Australia they do prawns.
Yeah,
of course.
I Googled it. It said seafood was number 1, but ham was underneath it. But it says that they serve cold glazed ham on Christmas Day and that it's prepared a few days in advance. But number 1 was seafood. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Australians are known for their prawns for sure.
Prawns, lobster, oysters. Yeah. All right. That makes a lot more sense.
Sounds good.
We've got
Is that because of a religious thing or a location thing?
I think location, because it's so warm and there's so probably a lot of good seafood, with so much coastal, I bet they've got
Catholics tend to steer away from meat, even though my family's Catholic and we went full on meat. But a lot of Catholics, they steer away from meat and it's more fish on any holidays or on Fridays and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And Debbie said try Cornish hens. They're wonderful. That's nice if you don't want to have like a whole turkey. You want everyone to have like their own little chickie. They're a little gamey. Tiny.
I don't think I know what Cornish hens are, but it sounds like pheasanty, things like that.
Small chicken.
just okay, nothing fancy then, just a small chicken. Right?
Small chicken. Ursula, I'm with Pam. Scottish is my absolute favorite dialect. I could listen to it all day. Love hearing Pam.
Oh, thank you. I grew up most of the time in England, so I have just the tiniest bit of a Scottish accent, but thank you. Anyway, I'll take it.
I would never know that though, if you hadn't told me that. Because my brain hears your voice and I'm just like, yeah, that's Scottish.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, there's no question about it, like in my brain.
Oh, because ever like if I meet a stranger from here, I'm like English Pam, and I'm like, I'm not English. Stop calling me that. How dare you?
Let's see.
Oh,
Accents
gumbo.
are crazy.
Hmm? Oh,
Accents are
accents are
crazy.
very weird. Yes. Yes, Linda says gumbo. I think I've only tried gumbo as a very cheap ready meal, so I don't know what proper gumbo is really like. But I fancy it.
Cajun
Yes, I
thing.
don't think a microwave dinner at a pound a portion is probably the right thing. So I'll try it properly somewhere.
I've had a couple of years like that though, where like I think when we had COVID, it was Thanksgiving and we had to cancel our dinner. So we just door dashed like one of the, country diners that was doing dinners. And it was just this pathetic little tray of crap. We couldn't taste it. So it's just mushy texture.
Yeah.
So depressing.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot you were sick around that time. Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. That's the worst when you gotta like tell your whole family who is relying on you to be the ones to make the food. Like, sorry, y'all gotta find other accommodations.
No. I think a lot of people had tough times those couple of years. I know one of the guys in the team in Australia drove halfway across Australia to see his family, and by the time they got there, the regulations were changed and they weren't allowed into the state and had to drive all the way back.
Oh man, that's awful.
It was quite a year.
Well, at least it's over. Well, I'm not going to say it's over. Like, clearly, there's still people getting COVID and getting sick, but at least we better know how to take care of ourselves and regulate. And I'm a lot more conscious now of like things that I touch. I think that we've all built better habits for touching things and washing hands. And
We still wash our hands whenever we're out and we come back in. We always wash our hands before we even take our shoes off or do anything. And
I have no tolerance for sick people who go out. A couple of years ago, I was at an event and a person came up to me. He's like, "Oh, so glad to be able to get out. I've got this stinking cold," and I was just like, "Nope, I'm not speaking to you ever again."
Oh yeah. And I mean, I love kids, but like when I'm out and about and I see these little booger kids and they're just all over groceries and stuff, I'm just like, oh my God, take your kids home. Like,
and you're someone that has a child and you feel that way. Imagine us non-child people, how we feel when there's kids just like being kids.
Right.
I think we should all get recognized for not pulling that Nosferatu face whenever we see one.
Ooh, no. No, I love my kid, but man, when we're out, if there's a little booger kid like wiping their nose on their sleeve, it's just like, oh, please do something. Like, I understand they're children, they don't know how to manage. Like, I used to be a preschool teacher, like I get it. They don't understand how to cope, but like, mamas, my Lord, keep some wet wipes in your purse, wipe that bug.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna end up under a table or something,
It's gonna end up somewhere on us non-kid people. That's what's gonna happen, and then we're gonna get sick, and we're not immune to it because we don't have those same interactions, so we're not immune, and it's not pretty. When we get those kid sicknesses, it's not pretty.
I'm enjoying these conversations, but in the back of my mind, I'm going, please, Debbie isn't typing this up, making notes on what we're talking about.
She's transcribing the whole video. Not this week, Debbie. Not this week.
I'm just sitting there going, booger kid.
Pam and Bryan hate children.
Yeah.
I cannot deny that statement.
You're Krampus. You're Krampus.
Yeah.
We got to see Krampus at one of the Christmas events that we did, and my daughter got her pictures with Krampus, but he like took his big hand and like wrapped it around her whole face.
Wicked.
Oh, cool.
That's wicked.
It was cool. And then there were two Krampuses walking around. There was the one that you got your picture with, but then there was the one from the Krampus like horror movie that came out a couple years ago. Oh, he's so cute.
Oh,
We made a Krampus gingerbread ornament.
Taylor
Brilliant.
loves Krampus.
That's so cool.
That's what we need. We need more Krampus. I think that we should put the Krampus back in Christmas and more.
We need a good Krampus movie. There's a few Krampus movies and they're all really, really bad.
I like the
Krampus
one.
movie. You like the 2015 one probably.
With all, yeah, because there's big names in it and it's kind of funny. It's kind of, and there's a couple, I wouldn't have known it if I hadn't looked it up, but there's a couple of like actual like, legend oriented references, like the hook coming down the chimney with the gingerbread. Apparently the hook is all like part of it. Like there's you could tell that they put a lot of work into it, but then they didn't explain. So you would have to already know, the history of Krampus to even understand some of the references. But it was pretty funny and the kid loved it. She's a horror lover, so she enjoyed it.
I think, with the movie, there's sort of two types of people. There's the super fans or the people who know about this thing. Do they like it? And then does it bring in the new audiences? Mm-hmm. I try and watch movies just as a standalone movie and not get too annoyed that they're not doing the proper material justice. But it's hard sometimes.
You'll never enjoy it otherwise. I mean,
that's true.
I'm one of those people who has to read a book before I watch the movie about the book, but often I just disappoint myself.
Yeah, that's the worst. I can think of about 2 movies of a book that I've loved and read that I've enjoyed the movies. I think the first one that disappointed me, I remember the first movie I walked out of the cinema in was War of the Worlds. I was like, that is wrong. And just left.
I love the Hunger Game movies and only read the books like about 6 months ago. And the movies were amazing. The books also amazing. So they both kind of had their own charms. It wasn't like, one is significantly better than the other. That's one that I think that
I always find it easier though if you watch the movie then read the book. Yeah. You haven't got the book in your, like, if you read the book, you've built up the characters already, and then you're like, they don't look like that. Whereas the other way around, they look like what the film looked like because you've already seen them look like that.
And if you're not like very imaginative and you have trouble world building or you have trouble developing characters in your mind, it's kind of nice to have that baseline, because then you don't have to put as much mental effort into world building while you read, so that you can immediately get into a flow state because you already know the environment, what the areas are. I did not read Harry Potter. I'm actually about to read Harry Potter for the first time. I've read most of the first book, but they came out while I was a little older, and I was already reading Forgotten Realms in middle school. Like, I was a D&D kid. So I'm reading books that are meant for middle-aged men. So Harry Potter, it was just like, I don't want to read this kid's book, but I am going to go back and read them because we watch the movies every year. I would like to have all the stuff that I'm not getting.
I'm driving up there tomorrow. See the train going over the bridge, all of that. That's where I'm passing through.
Are you passing through, or are you exclusively going to see?
Oh yeah, my mum absolutely lives in Hogwarts. Yeah. No, I'm going to visit my mum, but she doesn't live in Hogwarts. But a lot of the landscape pictures come from up there.
That's awesome.
Never seen the movie, never read the books. Love the video game. It's really good.
Cool.
Well, you should spend some time. I mean, I think that Harry Potter is a Christmas movie because there's always a Christmas scene in every movie. There is a Christmas part, so we watch it every Christmas, and it goes from, like, to me, it goes from never-ending story type fantasy, where you can tell where they didn't exactly know how dark the story was going to get, to, oh my God, this is so depressing. I can't believe that children read this. Like, we get into this weird sacrificial territory towards the end. So it's, yeah.
Well, I think at the time the idea was that the children were growing up as they were reading the book, but yeah, it doesn't it doesn't work that way if you jump into it now and you're like, this is supposed to be children's book. Yeah.
It's kind of terrifying. And my daughter, she's about to turn 13. So she's finally at the age where there's that like empathy, because she's kind of in that age group where she's able to watch it and understand like character feelings and stuff. She cried watching Hunger Games for the same reason, because she can start to feel that empathy. So, but that's fun. Well, guys, I think we're at the 4 o'clock mark.
And by the way, everyone, I don't know if you guys knew this. This is actually the first time that the three of us have ever actually spoke together as one.
That's
we actually
true.
all exist. We're not just pretending to be each other.
Yep.
I didn't have to glue the beard hairs on this week. It was Bryan.
I'm mad at Anthony for not joining us. We could have had this whole cultural like thing going on, but that's
we could have literally gone right around the world.
That's okay. He owes us all a trip to Hawaii anyways.
That's true. He does owe us a trip to Hawaii. So, guys, we're not going to be here next week, because why would we be here the day after Christmas? That's ridiculous. You won't be here either. There's only 26 of you here now. So you're like the diehard fans. We need to, you guys need to go have.
You're our special fans. We've enjoyed hanging about with you today. So it's definitely been a fun stream. Well, I hope it's been fun for everyone else. I've had fun.
Are we streaming on January 2nd? That's the real question.
We're not doing the 2nd. We are back. I believe it's the 9th, if I recall. Yes, the 9th will be the next live Q&A.
So mark your calendars, guys. We'll be back on the 9th, probably with something business related, not talking about movies and cookies and Christmas poops. But I think I'll still be streaming because none of my Friday beans conflict with like a holiday. It's the 20th, the 27th, and the 3rd. So I'll be streaming on Fridays. If you guys get bored, I'll be there noon Eastern. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. Be safe.
Yeah. See you guys.
Have a great holiday season, everybody. Bye. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Diwali, Happy New Year.